let's now welcome political analyst Ms. Sanusha Naidu. Sanusha, it's always great to have you with us. A very good afternoon to you. So Mchunu taking the opportunity now to address some of these allegations, maintaining, of course, his innocence. He's just said there he's engaging with lawyers as well, so he's going the legal route. And now going a step further, counter-fingering Mkhwanazi with his own corruption allegations. So what do you make of this latest move by the minister?
Oh, good afternoon, Alicia. It's always a pleasure to be on the show, and good afternoon to the viewers. I mean, I think just the fact that it's such a tricky issue that you're going to have these kinds of responses, listening into the minister's, I don't know, what do you call him now? Do you call him the former minister, the suspended minister, or the minister on leave? Listening to the way he responded to your reporter's questions. Again, it's somebody that's now willing to go further and take on the fight. But what's interesting is that this is par for the course. I mean, this is bound to happen, that in order to negate and to mitigate the risk against yourself, and in order to respond to that, you're going to also come up with your own countervailing response to the person who has been accusing you of these allegations. So again, I think it's such an complex set of issues that just thinking about the Commission of Inquiry, thinking about these countervailing responses, thinking about the legal action which the minister on leave had mentioned in terms of consulting his lawyers, and then of course looking at the responses from the side of those that are supporting the police commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal, talking about the fact that he doesn't have any social media, that these are fake accounts, etc. I mean, it's just a pressure boiler waiting to implode at certain points. So obviously now this is where we are, this is where we're at, and the question is, what will be the mandate in terms of the Commission of Inquiry in dealing with this issue? We know the mandate has been set by the president, but again, there's so many other issues that are now coming into the fold that it makes it even more a blistery kind of a commission of inquiry even before it has begun its work.
Sanusha, the fact that the minister is actually still going about his normal day-to-day business within the ANC as well as Parliament has actually drawn quite sharp criticism, especially on the president's part, who has been accused of being too lenient on the minister, weighing the gravity of the allegations against Mr. Mchunu and the minister in his own account misleading Parliament. So now, just as you said, we are here. He's now addressing this matter during political events. Could this not then be viewed as some sort of interference or steering or even planting certain narratives well before the so-called commission investigation actually sits down? And Mkhwanazi has not come back to address the public since dropping his bombs.
Yeah, I mean, Alicia, this is such a delicate set of issues. I mean, you're dealing with the security of the state. You're dealing with allegations that the minister the minister on leave is implicated in these allegations in terms of the relationship that has been speculated in terms of acting as a disruptor to crime fighting and, of course, the work of the police force in terms of taking their mandate forward. Then, of course, you have the response by the minister on leave, talking about the fact that, he's not going to take this lying down. Then, of course, you got no other word coming from the police commissioner around the allegations, the bombshell, as you rightly put out, that he made in that Sunday press briefing. And then in all of this, you've got this question around how do you address this without necessarily finding the kind of evidence that you need to find. Now, remember, in law, from my very menial understanding of the law, and I'm not a law expert, is there's something called you need to prove your innocence beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes.
Now, the doubt has been set in. It's been part of this whole thing in terms of the fact that we know that the kind of crisis that the security architecture in the country has. We've seen the kind of despair and the rot in the police. But at the same time, are you going to fire someone on the allegations, or are you going to try and find the kind of evidence to prove those allegations? And this is perhaps where the Commission of Inquiry is. Now, if the president is seen to be kind of not taking the right path, whatever the right path is, in this situation in terms of, and there's been calls and criticisms around whether the minister should have been put on leave or whether he should have been suspended or relieved of his duties as the Minister of Police. I mean, this is a big thing, right? Because it plays into bigger and other issues. So what happens to the question that you have a democracy, a constitution, and of course the other question is, how do you play that out in the context of what you've always kind of navigated in this democratic space? But again, there's been these challenges around whether the president finds himself in an invidious position, because it's not just about the state. The state should be put first and foremost above the party, but those party politics are coming into play as well. The last point I want to make on this is there's no way in which you're going to come out on top in terms of whatever decision you made. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
But the real challenge right now is what this Commission of Inquiry will produce. I think I'm a bit more wary of the time frame of this Commission of Inquiry. How much of leverage will it have, and what kind of mandate will it get in terms of the punitive action? But more importantly, just in terms of the fact that if this Commission of Inquiry comes up with other issues that are not necessarily being ventilated as part of this bombshell that was dropped by Mkhwanazi, then what do we do then?
Sanusha, unfortunately, we are out of time for this interview. We have to rush somewhere. And I was just going to engage you on that issue of course, the framework, the time frame that has been set, because I think a lot of misunderstanding has been thrown around in terms of the length and time that the commission actually has in terms of sitting down. The president did say on Sunday that, of course, there will be interval report backs starting with 3 months and 6 months. The commission is not going to be, completed in 6 months. But unfortunately, Sanusha, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for engaging with us this afternoon. Ms. Sanusha Naidu is a political analyst there on Mchunu, responding with counter allegations against Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's claims.